And America going to pot. Almost 40% of you admit to smoking marijuana at least once, and I'll bet that percentage is even higher. Pun intended. Colorado's about to let everybody get high. Should you? So you heard it here first. The war on drugs is over. Come January, the white flag goes up in smoke in Colorado. Anyone can legally smoke pot just for fun. We're not talking medical marijuana here. It's about to become a very big and a very profitable business. And Colorado is just the beginning. Watch this story now by CNN's Miguel Marquez.
This is our vegetative growth room.
Andy Williams is out to become captain of the country's newest growth industry, Colorado's legal recreational pot business.
It is a factory of pot.
It is a factory of pot. It certainly is.
His medicine man will be selling to users up to an ounce for Colorado residents, a quarter ounce for out-of-staters. Anyone over 21 can buy starting January 1. Industry watchers say it will be the first time ever anywhere in the world marijuana has been regulated from seed to sale, an experiment making Colorado a sort of Silicon Valley for pot.
It appears that you guys are already bulking up.
We are.
In preparation for what happens January 1.
Every one of my competitors is doing the same thing.
And how much new business does Medicine Man expect?
This is the future.
This is the future of Medicine Man.
This is
it.
Oh my.
Planned is a state-of-the-art facility so advanced they're expecting tourists.
Yeah, and this is not enough to meet demand next year. We need to expand more.
He'd like to triple his supply. And he's not the only one.
This is the new world. What is this?
This is the sort of the future.
It's an industry expected to grow from just over $1 billion nationwide today to over $10 billion by 2018. Companies here sinking millions figuring out how to consume pot in new ways. Open Vape extracts oil from marijuana and sells a sort of e-cigarette, giving the user an exact dose and producing almost no smoke.
We grew 1,600% in 2013.
1,600%.
1,600%. We'll do another 600% in revenue growth next year.
Open Vape expects to double its workforce in 2014. Its brand spanking new offices taking a page from the .com book.
You know, there are a lot of stereotypes. You think it's a bunch of guys sitting around smoking pot in their offices. It's not like that. This is real business. I mean, we are building a culture of excellence around cannabis.
Taxes on sales of recreational marijuana products, everything from the smokable stuff to chocolates and soda, expected to generate tens of millions in revenue for the state. It's already creating jobs.
Is there anybody here with an appointment?
Every morning, Colorado's Marijuana Enforcement Division jammed with people just hoping to get their licenses to work in the new industry. The agency is overwhelmed with applications. Every aspect regulated. Possession of an ounce or less legal anywhere within the state's borders. Most places, though, all those counties you see there in red still either ban or haven't yet decided if they'll allow pot sales. For many here, it is still baby steps.
We're hoping is that we can provide a model for that for other states as they elect to move forward with their own marijuana policy.
The Colorado experiment taking root. The Denver Post has hired a recreational marijuana editor, and Matt Brown, who runs My 420 Tour, says non-Coloradans are excited to experience the new Rocky Mountain High.
We anticipate just through our firm easily 2,000 to 3,000 people next year on our guided tours, which are all-inclusive multi-day packages.
Even cannabis cooking classes. Chef Blaine Alexander, who teaches some cannabis classes today, sees more.
Can you see a day when there's a restaurant, Blaine's?
Sure.
And
Alexander's, but yes.
Alexander's, all right, fine.
No, of course, I would love that. Yeah, I mean, that's always been my goal.
A goal that here in Colorado could soon be reality.
All right, so this is a show for adults, and CNN knows that they never know what's going to come out of my mouth. That's why they put me at 11 o'clock. I'm going to be absolutely honest here. I know plenty of people who smoke pot, all right? I'm not unfamiliar with it myself. A lot of you, not all of you, may say the same. Now I want to bring in CNN's Miguel Marquez, a man who had one of the best assignments in the business there, wondering if he got high. I'll ask him that later. Ricardo Baca is the Denver Post's new pot editor. That's right, new pot editor. They had to hire a pot editor. We're going to talk about that. So listen, all right, Miguel, well, did you get high?
I did not get high in Colorado, except for the Rocky Mountain, the clean Rocky Mountain sort.
Yeah, but it's not like it's a big secret. You have.
Yes, I've smoked pot many times in the past.
We're just being honest.
I mean, the issue with pot for myself has always been control. That I never know how it's going to hit you. So I haven't smoked it in years because I don't like it. Yeah. That's what's going to change in Colorado, though. They are working on. I was blown away by what they're doing out there.
Are they worried that people are just going to be running to Colorado come January 1st to get high? Are they bracing for that?
I mean, Ricardo will have some idea of this as well, but I think that there is going to be a very big party in Colorado come January 1st. It is not very clear that on that day people will actually be able to buy in these stores because there's a very regulated licensing regime that they have to go through to get those to start selling recreationally. But my guess is there will be some of that going on by January 1st.
So, Ricardo, let's talk a little bit more about this. You are a pot editor, and I think that's a first.
I am, yeah, that's crazy.
What does that mean?
Well, you know, I'm overseeing all of our marijuana coverage here. So we already have the biggest staff covering this issue, bigger than anybody else, certainly in the state. And since we are the first, we just want to continue to amp up that news coverage and also add some entertainment features, criticism, and just make sure that we are the source that everybody comes to for that news.
Yeah, and we want to make sure, listen, we're not being proponents of marijuana here. I just think that the genie's out of the bottle, and Colorado is just sort of leading the charge here. But there are some unknowns here, and I'm sure as part of your job as an editor, you will be reporting on that.
There's a lot of unknowns, and come January 1st, we have no idea what's going to happen, but we do find it very exciting to be here in this position. I promise you we'll have many reporters on the ground in Denver, Aspen, Southern Colorado, Western Colorado, the places that you'd expect. I myself might spend New Year's Eve with the Wu-Tang Clan right here in Denver, Colorado. Just to, you know, I'll have my eyes on the prize. I will take that assignment happily.
So you are no stranger to pot either, right? You don't smoke it, you say.
No. Exactly, I eat it. Edibles are the only way that I can really consume it. So, yeah, but I enjoy it.
Yeah. Edibles are huge, right?
Edibles are going to be
But you don't know how it's going to affect you. Like, you smoke, and you know, like, all right, this will be over in maybe an hour. But when you do edibles...
The difficult bit about this, that's going to take some education, is that people don't realize that if you have a brownie, it takes longer than if you were smoking it to kick in. So people end up eating more and more, and then they're just completely plastered.
I just understand that there's going to be a pot critic, like there's a wine critic and a food critic, and has that job already been filled?
You know, it hasn't. I'm still taking resumes. People can find my email address online, and so far I've received probably about 30 to 40.
You're going to get a lot more after
We're looking for a
this.
local to Colorado.
Okay.
Local to Colorado pot critic is what we're looking for, and I hope I do receive a lot more.
You'll get a lot more out of this. Thank you very much, Ricardo Baca, and thank you very much, Miguel.
Thank you.
Soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. In a minute, not everybody's down with the Rocky Mountain High. Had to get that in, but we're going to debate that next. Plus, the death of a Fast and Furious star. I'm Don Lemon. It's the 11th hour. Thank you for reaching out to us on social media at Don Lemon CNN and at the 11th hour. We really appreciate it. You know what? America has gone from a president who told us he did not inhale to one who, by his own admission, used pot and, as he put it, a little blow as a student. So has this country gone to pot? Joining me now is Howard Samuels of the Hills Treatment Center, Dr. Mitch Rosenthal of Phoenix House, Ethan Nadelman of the Drug Policy Alliance, and Neil Franklin of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. So I want to start with you. Let's start with Ethan. Ethan, across the country, do you think that everyone's going to follow suit with Colorado, and that's a good idea?
Well, Don, I mean, it's going to take a while. Let's look to Oregon to go next, maybe Alaska. We'll see if California goes in 2014 or 2016. The big news, actually, is going to be outside the country next week, where Uruguay in South America looks to be the first country that's actually going to legalize marijuana and follow in the footsteps of Colorado and Washington. But when you see a Gallup poll showing 58% of Americans now saying they're in favor of legally regulating marijuana like alcohol, and when most of that support is coming from people who actually don't use marijuana, don't like marijuana, who naturally worry about their kids like anybody else, I think it's just a matter of time before we see marijuana become legally regulated across the country and in many parts of the world.
Neil, do you think that, do you agree with Ethan that it's going to become legalized? You know, I think many people think in about 10, 15 years or so that many states around the country are going to be very similar to Colorado, especially with the support that we're seeing if you looked at that recent poll.
Yeah, I agree with Ethan 100%. Not just in states where you have a referendum, but even here in Maryland and Pennsylvania, where the legislators have to move to policy, we're seeing a sea change. We're seeing policymakers finally realizing that, you know what, it's a safe place now. It's a safe place to talk about regulation and control, tax and regulating marijuana. So we're going to see it across the country. We're going to see it move across the globe where it needs to be.
People may be surprised because you're an executive director of law enforcement against prohibition, and you're a retired state police major. A retired state police major saying this. Why are you saying this as a former cop?
Well, first of all, I spent most of my career in either drug enforcement or criminal enforcement. And most of that time commanding multi-jurisdictional drug task forces, and I've seen the harms. I've seen the violence that's caused from this underground marketplace. I mean, if you want more marijuana available to kids and you want to line the pockets of drug dealers, this is the perfect policy in which to do that. Come on, drug dealers hire children to sell drugs to other children. And they do it within our schools, within the hallways, within the classrooms. You know what? Adults cannot do that. So if you want to get marijuana into our schools, this is the perfect policy for it. Drug dealers don't care.
Howard Samuels, the CEO and founder of the Hills Treatment Center. Do you think this is going to keep kids safer if it is legalized or regulated across the country?
I got to tell you, Don, I'm sick to my stomach after I watched that video, okay? This is a real emotional issue for me, and I'll tell you why. I work with addicts for the last over 20 years. I've had to deal with marijuana addicts and their dysfunction and many years of their lives totally ruined because of smoking weed on a daily basis. In fact, myself, I started smoking weed at 15 and became addicted to marijuana. And then after that sort of wore off, I went to cocaine and heroin. Now, I'm sober 29 years now. I think that this is an absolute sickening idea that's happening in Colorado and Oregon. And I think it's about money. I think it's about big tobacco. And I really want to sort of ask Ethan a real serious question, okay? What's he going to do to try to help the people who are going to become addicted with all the millions of dollars that that organization has in order to get their organization through this initiative? Are they going to build treatment centers?
Ethan,
are they going to help the addicts?
Well, go ahead quickly because I want to get Mitch in here. Go ahead.
I think, Howard, you're living evidence that marijuana prohibition has failed, that it did nothing to keep half of all the young people in America from using marijuana, 100 million people from using it. I mean, the evidence of the failure of marijuana is overwhelming. So the bottom line is, are we going to treat marijuana as a health issue or as a criminal issue? For you working in treatment, one would think the answer should be, let's treat it as a health issue. We've proven the failure of the war on marijuana. There's no question about that anymore. Meanwhile, why should we be locking young people up? Why should we be arresting tons of young people, mostly young people of color,
don't lock young people up for marijuana,
in fact, Howard, the fact of the matter is you're getting arrested.
Cocaine.
Howard,
Nobody should
I can speak to
Howard finish.
You asked him a question.
To what we do.
You asked me
Ethan, you asked, go ahead.
Half the arrests in this country are for marijuana, Howard. People are getting criminal records. And I'll tell you this, if there is a ballot initiative in California coming up soon, you can be assured that some of the money, the tax revenue that goes there, will go to schools, education, and will also go to drug treatment, which is more than the war on drugs is producing for marijuana.
Okay, Ethan,
now.
Howard, stand by, because Mitch is sitting there in the top right corner, and he's not looking very happy about this. And especially because you're a child psychiatrist, and as I said, the founder of the Phoenix House and child psychiatrist. What this does to adolescent brains, the damage you say that it does to young people, do you think by regulating it and making it legal that this is a bad thing for, will this keep it out of the hands of young people?
It won't keep it out of the hands of young people. We'll have lots of it that goes to them and they will use it. And it will hurt them. They will fail in school. 10% of them will become marijuana dependent. And as Howard was saying, many of them will go on to other drugs. You know, for 50 years, I've been dealing with people who've had problems with marijuana. It's very serious when you see them. I don't think that people in Colorado are going to be smiling and laughing and having big parties in 2 years. I think in some ways, it's useful that they are doing this big experiment. Not everybody in Colorado is happy about it. Many parents feel that there shouldn't be any advertising, that that there has to be a real cap and a real control on sale to minors. But there won't be. There'll be a black market for minors, and I think we will still have, as Neil was saying, we'll still have kids selling to kids. We'll still have, as we found at Phoenix House when we did a survey a couple of years ago, that family members will be sharing their pot, just as people now who are getting medical marijuana are sharing their pot. But wait 1 second, Don. We'll see a threefold increase in marijuana use, and the fallout from that is going to be tremendous.
Okay, so Mitch, we're going to see what happens next in Colorado, but listen, I want to say to you guys, what is the difference? Families are sharing alcohol with each other. Alcohol is legal. Alcohol, by many estimates, and if you look at the studies, is more damaging than marijuana if you look at any recent study or any old study. Alcohol is a very serious drug. It's also a very serious drug. But yet it's legal, Mitch.
Yeah, that doesn't mean we should introduce another legal, powerful drug.
And marijuana prohibition as well.
Wait a second.
We only have
and so is marijuana prohibition.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys. Listen. Thank you. I'm sorry. We have to go. We've gone on a little bit longer than I wanted to go on here. Well, my producers at least. So I'm sorry. We only have an allotted amount of time here. Thank you very much. We'll have you back on. This discussion will continue. In the meantime, again, very, very much thanks to all of you. The Fast and Furious crash that killed Paul Walker.